Hello everybody, welcome to Fruitful Trees. I am here in my yard in South Florida in front of one of my favorite trees. This is a persimmon tree. Now this is a tropical persimmon tree, and persimmons normally need some chill hours to produce, but there are different varieties, and there's a Florida variety of persimmon that will produce here. There's actually several varieties, and I have two of them. I have the South Florida persimmon and also the Triumph persimmon. And some of them say that that's one and the same, but some of them say it's different. However, my persimmons have been doing well. Last year they produced for the first time in a good amount, and I continue to see how this one's going to do. I often go down to South Florida to Julian at Laura Farms, and he has a persimmon tree that's 20 years old that's loaded every year. So persimmons do grow in South Florida. However, today's video, I'm going to be in Georgia. I'm going to central Georgia, and I'm going to visit a persimmon farm and hear about persimmons that won't do well down here, the Fuyu persimmon. We're going to a Fuyu persimmon farm, and we're also going to see what else they're growing in central to south Georgia. So if you're in Georgia, this is a farm you want to visit, and this is what you want to grow. If you're in South Florida and you want to get some Fuyu persimmons, I don't necessarily recommend them growing them here. You might be successful if we don't get too cold of a winter, if it doesn't drop too much the temperature. However, I think you're better off growing tropical persimmons here and just ordering the Fuyu persimmons from this farm, and they'll ship them right to you. We will visit in the future more persimmon farms and see how far we could push it coming down south. But here we go. Here is a persimmon farm in Georgia. Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Welcome to Georgia. This is Tom, and it's SweetGeorgiaFuyu
Persimmon Farm.
And I'm going to put his link below. We're going to check out persimmons today. I'm so excited to be here, and we're going to get a tour from Tom. All right, Tom, so how many acres of persimmons do you have here?
There's 25 acres of persimmons, about 2,600 persimmon trees.
And how long have you been here?
We've been here for 10 years.
10 years. Did you start the farm, or did you purchase it from somebody else?
No, we started the farm and we planted all these trees.
Wow, so when you came here, there was no land?
Yeah, well, there was just open land. They grew peanuts. This is peanut row crop country. This is onion, sweet onion. The Vade comes from this area. For soil in Georgia, this is one of the better soils you'll find, the Tifton loam soil.
And how's the elevation where we're at? Are you on high ground or is it low ground?
Yeah, this is sort of high, right, where we're at right now. It's generally sloping land, nothing like mountains and stuff.
Now, Georgia's known for its peaches, and you're growing persimmons.
Right. Now, these are the Asian persimmons, and the reason we chose a persimmon is there's very little is known about it. People don't, the market for them is kind of unheard of. The people here are more familiar with a native persimmon, which grows here quite well, which these trees are on that rootstock, and they're small and astringent. So here's a persimmon thing in a nutshell. It's, you have astringent and not astringent. Astringent fruit means that it's only edible when it's extremely ripe. So you don't pick them and eat them by color, like many people have learned that in the past. They have to be soft. The Asian persimmon is a non-astringent. So that from the non-astringent side, the Asian persimmon can be eaten like an apple. So anything you can do with an apple, you can do with the persimmon. You can eat it hard, you can cut it and slice it and put it on fruits. And a persimmon has, I call, like 3 lives. So it starts out hard, you can eat it like an apple, and then it gets soft, and it gets a little sweeter, and you eat it like a pear, you know, and then they get like jelly soft, and you can scoop them out and put them on cereal, or you bake with them. And it's a very, it has a very tropical melon flavor to them, and it's really unique. So I have people that come from, like, you know, 150 miles, every season to pick fruit or buy fruit out of our field here that we pick and pack.
So it's a you pick farm.
Yeah, so we do you pick, and we we sell boxes and stuff, either here or at the farmers market in Savannah, or we have several customers and lots of schools and stuff.
Do you ship in the mail at all?
Yeah, we ship customers fruit in the mail. And products. See, we have a whole line of products too, jams and salsas and stuff that are made with the persimmon.
Now, these are Fuyu persimmons?
Yeah, Fuyu.
There are other persimmons that are astringent and non-astringent, and there are other types of varieties. So why do you pick this one only? Do you have other varieties, or is this the only one you have?
Well, there are several varieties of this here. The Fuyu persimmon has its own, maybe 10 major cultivars of Fuyu persimmon. And the non-astringent, the Haichia is the one that's best known. You can find it often in a store. Acorn shape. These are flat and squat. In fact, we're a long ways away. These are just the flowers for the next year.
Now, what is the season? When do they fruit? So the flowers are there now. When do these trees usually fruit?
October.
October.
Yeah, so it's October, November.
So the season's from October to November.
Yeah.
Are there other persimmons that are different season, or are all persimmons the same season usually?
Well, generally they're all the same season. Although there are varieties that are weeks apart, and sometimes we have some varieties here. The Jaro Fuyu persimmon, which will start the last week of September, and the Fuyu, which will go all the way almost to November. But yeah, generally they're just a fall fruit. So and it's nice because of fall fruit, there aren't a whole lot of things.
So you're saying besides just a Fuyu, there's 10 different varieties of Fuyu.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow, that's very interesting. And they're similar seasons. So what are the differences of them, and why do you decide the ones you have?
Well, we stayed away from Haichia is another variety, which is an astringent, well known.
But that's not Fuyu.
No,
the varieties of the Fuyu. Why did you choose?
Oh well, we chose these varieties because they do well here for various reasons. One is that they start earlier in the season, and because they're you can sell them when they're hard. You have an early customer, you have a mid customer, and you have a later customer.
And can you grow the Haichia here as well if you wanted to? Or?
Oh yeah, we could.
Oh wow!
I don't think there's any variety of persimmon we couldn't grow here.
Now, are there many persimmon growers in Georgia, or not that you know of?
I know them. I know most of them. Yeah, there may be like a half dozen of people that have small acreages of persimmons.
For the backyard grower, is this a great fruit to grow?
We sell the trees. Well, in fact, I'm out of them right now to people. Yeah, they make a great backyard variety. They grow pretty easily. They take little or no pesticides. We use chicken litter for fertilizer, so they have no major predator. As far as an insect goes, so they'd be good. They're good for a backyard.
And how fast do they grow? Because you said you've been here how many years? 10 years?
10 years. Well, this is a 4-year-old tree.
4-year-old. Okay. So are all your trees 4 years old? I mean, how big do they get?
Oh no, I've had them. These are as big as the trees I have right now. And how much bigger will they get? Probably twice the size by the time maybe in the next 3 years.
So, but they're small. They're slow growing trees.
They are.
They are.
Yeah.
Do you have to trim them at all, or do you just?
Well, a persimmon will, at least the Fuyu, they grow pretty upright. You know, the branches will grow straight up, and it'll keep throwing branches on the inside to grow straight up. So you need to prune them and keep them down, or you end up with a tree that's too tall to work with.
Sure.
So I cut about a third of the tree down every year.
Every year, okay.
Just the height, and then to thin them out in the middle.
And as for the distance of the rows and stuff, is this something you just did, or did you research it before you did it?
Yeah, this is a typical spacing that would be used in production. And you could follow the same thing in your home. These are 18, rows are 18, and they're 15 feet apart.
18 by 15.
Yeah,
okay.
that's a good area. With a persimmon, you need you want to give them a lot of open space, and you want a lot of direct sun, especially when when you're working with humidity here, because you want to open tree with lots of air circulation to keep the tree growing well and the fruit and keep the fungus and stuff from becoming a problem on the inside of your tree.
Sure. And do you spray the trees with anything?
No.
No. And what about the water? How do you water it? Does it take a lot of water, or does it make a difference if you water it less or more?
This is a drip system, and it's the original system we put in when we put the trees in. They have a very small emitter on them, and there's usually only one per tree. Here, water is a supplement to rainwater. We get about 45 inches of rain every year, so, and it usually comes from, so I have rain all year long. So my system is only a supplemental system. So, but yeah, you have to keep them wet. Generally, that's the other question you ask. Keep them wet. Persimmon is almost a swamp plant. They love water. They like sand because they have a very deep taproot, and they want to set a long taproot down, and they want to stay wet. If for anything you do at your home, you want to make sure you have good mulch on it all the time, because you just won't think about when checking them when they need water, because they'll need water. If it's just dry of an inch or so on the top, it's time to water them.
Okay. Well, where I live in South Florida, in the wintertime, all the leaves fall off the tree, or in the summertime, all the leaves fall off in the summer, and then they start growing the leaves back one way or the other. So do the leaves fall off here?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they'll come off in November. They'd probably be later down there. Yeah, and and that's just a normal process of deciduous tree. And the fact that a persimmon tree, I don't know if you've seen this, but you ever see a picture of a tree without any leaves and fruit, that's usually a persimmon tree, because the persimmons are known to be holding fruit when they have no leaves.
Okay. Yeah, well, we are in South Florida. There's only a couple of varieties we can grow because of the chill hours. You need a certain amount of chill hours per variety. So we can't grow like Hachia persimmons in South Florida. We can only grow, there's one called a Triumph persimmon or a tropical persimmon, and they are astringent.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I don't know that much about the other varieties. And, of course, we get enough cold weather up here in the winter every year to meet my requirements.
Yeah. I've always said, if I was in this area, which you're here in South Georgia, mid to South Georgia, I would grow persimmons. They're excellent, right? Peaches grow excellent here. Figs, how do figs do here?
I got some trees, you can go look at them.
Oh, yeah, but they do great here?
Yeah, this is not a peach area.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not. They won't grow here long. I think it's because of the problems with the soil. Most of the peaches are growing what's called the fall line, which is north, like around Macon and stuff.
Okay. So here in, would you consider yourself in southern Georgia?
This is really like south central.
Okay. So what would you say grow besides persimmons and figs? What else would grow here? You think fruit wise?
Okay. Figs, persimmon, citrus. Only the ones that are very cold hardy. You know, like calamungans, kumquats, satsumas. In fact, there are quite a few people who do satsumas around here.
I heard about that. Yeah, they're the best. So what did you say the season was for satsumas?
November through, I want to say December, maybe January.
So what grows in the summer out here?
Grapes.
Grapes.
Muscadine grapes.
Wow, that's the big thing here.
Yeah. There's a couple of muscadine wineries around here. Almost everybody... well, in fact, the old homestead, this is in Savannah, which this is really a good example of right here, from the 30s, would have had, well, of course, this one's grown with pecans. This is pecan area. Typically, a house would be on a couple acres with pecans. The pecans cool the house and provide some income. And there are a lot of pecans growing around here. And in their yard, they would have a pomegranate. There's one right there.
A pomegranate.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
In fact, that's the original pomegranate. It's a cutting from the original pomegranate that grew in the front yard. They'd have a pomegranate. They'd have a kefir pear or sand pear, which we got a couple of those. And there was a variety of plums that would do well here. And that was typical of a yard. They have these trees for their own eating and stuff.
Now, so if somebody, let's say, bought property that didn't have any of these trees, these pecan trees are really big. I would assume many years old. If you buy a pecan tree, how long before you get pecans?
I'm not a pecan grower to speak of. I just inherited these, but probably about 8 years you'll get some. These trees are over 100 years old.
Wow.
To reach any kind of real production on a tree probably takes 15 years, 16 years.
Now, getting out the persimmon, if somebody buys a persimmon tree from you when you have them in stock, they put them in the ground. What size trees do you typically sell, and how long before they get fruit?
Well, they most likely will get fruit maybe the second year, but they could have a small piece of fruit the following year. I tell people don't grow a tree for the fruit. Grow the tree for the tree. So you want to start. You want to start by cutting the tree. So that 5-6 foot tree I sold you. What you want to do is cut it down to 2 feet. If you don't cut it down to 2 feet, then your branches are going to be at 3 and 4 feet. You know, your main scaffolding branches. So it's going to be always difficult to farm that tree when only way you're going to be able to do that is off of a ladder. So the first year you want to start them really low because you want your branches to form lower. So that way you have a tree that you can work with.
Sure. Can we walk around and see some of your trees and give us the idea you're just talking about?
Well, see, like all of these were cut. This is where they were cut, right here.
Let me turn around here. Show us again. Okay. So they were cut lower here.
Oh, yeah.
And that's good advice, everybody, for every fruit tree.
It really is. And the thing is, like, don't be afraid to prune them, you know. If you think you don't know how to prune, don't worry. Nobody really knows, you know. I mean, it's between you and the tree. Just figure out what works for you, you know, because you're gonna have to work with that tree. You're gonna have to keep a shape in it. You may have to thin it. You're gonna have to pick it, you know. So it needs to meet your needs. And if it does that, it'll be a happy tree.
Now, if you prune at the wrong time, though, you can affect the fruit crop for the following year, right?
Well, these go into dormancy. So usually I don't prune until like January or February. I like try to get them pruned right before they come out. Just because there could be additional freeze damage and stuff like that.
Now, what about grafting the trees? Do you graft your own trees on the rootstock, or do you purchase them already grafted, or do you grow from seed? How does that work?
Persimmons are a grafted tree, like most of your citruses and many other trees. They're a grafted tree. You buy them with grafted already. You can graft them in the field and stuff, but the fact that there's a certain amount that won't take, you know, that doesn't really work out well for your yard. When you just took 30 feet, you allowed 30 feet for a tree, and now all of a sudden that tree's didn't take off, and the one next to it did. So you're unless you're really good at a grafting, you know, you want to buy a tree that's already grafted.
Now, do you graft here, or do you? Okay,
No,
you
I
get the
buy
trees.
them.
Okay, now, so they don't grow true to seed, is what you're saying?
No.
Okay.
No. The rootstock, of course, is from a seed. Yeah.
Sure.
So yeah, these are the native persimmon trees. So they have a small fruit, and they have maybe 4 or 5 seeds, and you can pick them, and you can start your own rootstock, and you can graft them from that.
So when you say native, you mean wild persimmons, correct?
They call them wild, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, great. So tell us, what has not worked for you that you've tried over the years in terms of maybe a variety or a spot you planted or something you've done that you learned and you said, that's not something I want to continue doing?
Well, with the persimmon, when you got trees like this, you're always looking for the best tree, you know. And I tell people like that. I don't have a really true commercial tree here. I have lots of nice trees. I get good production. But to be a commercial tree, you need to know you're going to have good, strong production every year. Okay, so, and these varieties on these trees are not consistent. So I'll have one tree that'll have a lot of fruit, and the next one won't have very much. I have a section that has a lot, and a section does not have a lot. And when you're putting an effort into something, you want it to all work out, you know, because it takes just as much time and costs just as much money to grow the tree that didn't have anything on it as it did the one that did. Okay, so every time I do a planting, I try to learn something from each one, and so I ordered some trees that are grafted the way I want them on something, and I think that will bring me closer to what I'm looking for. So it's like kind of an evolving thing. And I've gone from different varieties of fuyus to see what they do over a length of time, because what happens in a year isn't really so important as what happens in 10 years, you know, with what you're doing.
Sure. So are you saying, when you say they're not consistent, is 1 year this tree might give you a lot of variety, a lot of fruit, and the following year it might not
Right.
give you many at all?
Yeah.
So have you found that to be common with the Fuyu persimmon in general?
Yeah. Now, in California, you know, they have their thing down. They know that they're growing them. They're growing jarros on a lotus rootstock, and they do well out there. But you know, that's been something that they worked out a long time ago. What works here, you know, it will be different than what works there. Just like the same thing, the same way you grow things in California is different than the way you grow things out here. Here you have a lot of humidity that you have to work with. Out there, it's very arid and dry. So,
what growing zone are you in out here?
what?
What growing zone are you in? 9A? 8?
I think this is 8A.
So are you saying if you're in California in 8A, it's not the same? Or
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Interesting.
No. And then, well, if you garden, you'll recognize that even within your community, it's different from one place to another. And this not necessarily means that you're not as good a gardener as they are, you know, but there are various environmental changes, you know, just within a few miles. This is particularly warm. For this area, this is very much like southern Florida, even though we're almost 2 hours from the border. It just happens to be a very warm spot, you know, and so I have fruit here every year. When I have, you know, the other people I talk to that have persimmons, they will have lost everything, you know, because they had a late freeze, and it got just cold enough when these beautiful little flowers, you know, are just so fragile, you know, and they'll lose a crop. But I haven't lost a crop that way.
Sure.
No. It just doesn't quite get, it's just a degree or two warmer on those cold nights.
And you're saying, so this tree likes to sit in water, they're more swamp, so if you have lower land that gets standing water, these trees would be okay?
Not standing water.
Okay.
Not that kind of water.
Okay.
That's a different thing, but they do need to be wet all the time.
Got you.
Yeah.
Could you show us your fig trees?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
We'll have to drive down there.
Okay.
All
right. So besides, did you grow plums here at all?
I don't.
Okay. Now, do you have a garden, or do you just do fruit trees?
No, I have a garden.
Okay.
The other thing, yeah, we'll go look at it.
Yeah, wonderful.
See here, these are muscadines. I planted those last year.
Where?
Right there.
Oh,
vineyard, my little vineyard.
So they grow great here as well. So for a backyard grower, persimmons, muscadine. Don't go into peaches if you're in southern. Stay away.
No, this is not peach country.
Plums, and definitely citrus though.
Well, plums and peaches, you know, the same, apricots,
Yeah.
fluots, all of those, you know, I think they do. I never knew anybody who were able to grow them. The ones I've heard who grow them, you know, find they can only get a few years out of them, and they have to cut them down.
What variety of pomegranate are those?
Well,
They look like they're doing
very
great.
good, don't they?
We have one variety that grows well near us in South Florida. It's a Vietnamese pomegranate.
Oh yeah.
The rest.
There's so many varieties.
But so what growing zone would you say here, if you look all over the country, is similar? Because definitely it's different than South Florida, but would you say Southern California or Central California is similar to here? Because I know they grow the grapes out there and the persimmons.
The biggest, you know, I mean, as a climate goes, this is a good climate for lots of things to grow, because you have warm summers and fairly mild winters. one of the things that limit what can be grown here is that it can be really cold, and so that brings the end of that. So, like, you can grow citrus here very well, any of them, any variety you can grow here. The thing is, like, can you keep them alive though when it's 50? Last winter it was 15 degrees. See, most citrus isn't going to do well below 20.
Yeah.
So that means that they all just died back. Kumquats, calamungans, satsumas, no, they'll do fine. You know, they'll handle cold down to, I think, about 10 degrees. So they do well here.
I know a guy north of here growing mangoes. I'm going to interview him.
Oh yeah. Wow!
It's a challenge.
That's right up your alley, man.
He's figured out how to do it because this climate you can't grow mangoes normally. So here's your fig trees. What varieties of figs do you have?
That's a Papa John. That's a brown turkey. I don't know what this one is.
Do you have any problems with the nematodes?
No, I don't. In fact, I got a friend who grows them, and he says the only way he can grow them is to grow them next to a barn or something, so that the roots will grow under the barn because of it. I don't have that problem.
Now these aren't too big, these trees. Do you keep them trimmed?
Oh yeah. Remember, I'm the guy who cuts them down.
Yes, no, it's a wise thing.
I hack away at them. I bring them right on down because
otherwise they'll take over the whole
all
place.
right, and then you can't get to the fruit.
You're feeding the birds then, right?
Yeah.
Oh, so you got these two trees here?
I got there are two more. I have two more up in another spot. I think they're beautiful trees. I haven't done much with the fruit though. I get a few pieces off of it. Most of them are kind of small. I don't know very much about growing them.
Are there any fig farmers out here that you know?
No, I don't. Like I said, my friend who turned me on to the brown turkey, he grows them. But yeah, here's our garden. Oh, we do sugar cane.
Oh, you do? Wow.
You do sugar cane?
I don't do that, but I want to. I mean, it's easy to do everywhere. So how much sugar cane do you do?
What?
How much sugar cane do you do? You grow a lot of sugar cane?
Oh, yeah. No, we just have a stand.
Oh, yeah,
every house used to have a cooking shed. In fact, we still got one with a kettle. And they would have a stand of sugar cane, and they'd cut them all down. And every fall, they'd invite their friends over, and they had a grinder, and they'd squeeze all the juice out of it. And this is like an 80-gallon bowl. We can look at it in a minute. It's up there where you're at. And they'd make syrup out of it for the year.
Do you grow the sugar cane here?
Yeah, right here. I have just a little stand. Now I don't use my own. There's another guy who has a syrup shed, and we take ours there, and he gives us stuff. But here, this is this year's, and see, they come right back up.
So they grow, and you just cut them, use them, and they shoot right back up, kind of like bamboo?
Yeah. The roots don't spread like sometimes bamboo will.
And what kind of variety? Any particular variety of
I don't know the variety. We got them from him. You know, he said they grow well here, try them. So
and how easy was it to plant? You just got it, cut it, and put it in the ground?
Yeah, it's easy, man.
Very easy, wow.
Pomegranates, another easy one to do. Because they're not grafted, you know, and they're very easy to propagate.
Are they? Can you take the cutting, or do you need to take them from a seed?
Oh, usually from a cutting. I don't know you can take them from a seed.
Right from a cutting?
Oh, yeah. In fact, we prune them. You prune them and just take the cuttings and just stick them in the ground. You know, almost half of them or 3/4 of them will just root, you know, come the spring.
Oh, that's good to know. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
That's great to
pomegranates
know.
are really easy to do.
Wow. And the pomegranates grow great out here?
Oh yeah, they do well. Again, you have humidity is your biggest enemy out here for farming anything. Especially pomegranate, the outside of them will get almost black. You know, if you don't keep something on it to keep the fungus out of it.
So you do have to spray. So what do you spray to keep them black and not getting that?
I use just like neem oil.
Okay.
You know, but you gotta do it often. It doesn't ruin the fruit inside. It just doesn't look. It's not that pretty fruit that you see in the grocery store that came from California.
Sure. So when does your persimmon season start here?
We'll pick the first week in October.
And it goes all the way till when?
Well, till we run out.
Which is
usually around 15th of November.
Okay. So for about a month and a half, and people can go online if they're from out of state. They can order from your website.
SweetGeorgiaFuyu. We have a website and we have ordering. You can order either jams and salsas and hot sauce and stuff that we make from the fruit here, or you can order the fruit and we'll ship you in small boxes, or you can come here and buy a box or pick your own.
I'm going to put the address below, everybody, to contact them here. And this is amazing. Thank you so much for showing us your amazing farm.
You're welcome.
All right, that is wonderful.
Growing's a beautiful thing.
It is. It certainly is. All right, everybody, there it was. That's Tom. Definitely check out the link below. Thank you, Tom, for the tour today. And the website's below. Contact him and make sure you get some persimmons when they're in season. He also sells trees. An amazing place, and I'm so glad I came. Thank you.
And don't forget to subscribe and read the comments below.
All right. Thank you very much. Have a great day. All right, everybody. There it was. That was a persimmon farm in Georgia. SweetGeorgiaFuyu Persimmons. And I'm definitely looking forward to ordering persimmons this year from them. And I love that interview. I can't wait to go back there during persimmon season and just do an amazing interview there and taste some persimmons right off the tree. So I hope you learned from that. I learned a couple of things from that. And again, if you're in South Florida, I do recommend you get Triumph Persimmon or a South Florida Persimmon or tropical Persimmon. All right. Until then, everybody, put your comments below. Thanks for watching. And check out the website to the Fuyu Persimmon farm that I visited. I'll put the link below. Have a great day, everybody, and keep growing.